Hi everyone, it's KIREI here for Arden Creative Studio, and I have a brand new layout using the fabulous new Wicked Woods collection designed by Katie Pertiet. Now, I don't really do Halloween, and we don't have children, so that was definitely a bit harder thinking about what photos I had. However, I'm going back a few years, and I pulled out some photos from a visit to a pumpkin patch when I was away in October in 2022. And with my scrapbooking friends, we go away for a week every year to a lovely barn. And we decided we'd go and visit a pumpkin patch and managed to find one fairly local to where we were. And of course, being scrapbookers, we obviously had to take photos of everything, including these spider hay bales. They've made these covered hay bales into spiders. So yeah. So anyway, I found a photo and I thought, I know, I'm going to go all spider for this layout. So well, you can see here, I mounted my two photos. I've got some pattern papers from the 6x8 paper pad. And then I drew this spider's web on my background. And I just thought I'd decided to replicate the sort of spider's webs that are on the pattern paper, also on the decoupage paper. And I was going to use that as a bit of a feature to my background. So you can see I've drawn it. Quite a bit of stitching to do, but that's okay. I don't mind a bit of stitching. So it's this perfect sort of thing to go and do and sit in front of the TV, which is exactly what I did. I got myself up to a point here. Well, finish this bit. And then I left it. And then when I was sat down in the evening, I just finished off my stitching in front of the TV. So it's the perfect sort of little thing that you can be doing. It's a bit like fussy cutting as well. When you've got a lot of fussy cutting to do, that's another thing that I do in front of the TV. Perfect. So there we go. And as if by magic, all done. It certainly it wasn't that quick doing it, but yeah. And of course, if I'd thought about it, I probably didn't need to stitch the sort of the elements in the centre, because I do end up covering up quite a chunk, but that's okay. It was quite relaxing doing that stitching. So all I've done is I've just pulled out a few pattern papers. Some of these were already in pieces, and then I've got this decoupage paper here, which I think, oh, what am I going to do with it? But actually, I love it as an extra layer, and it's different. So it's that, because it's that very light sort of tissue weight. It's different to just having your pattern papers and ephemera pieces, because it is lighter weight. And obviously what I did is I scrunched it all up. I think I tend to do that when I've got these decoupage papers. And then I've just added it as a layered background. And at the moment, what I'm doing here is I've just pulled out some pieces from I've got the laser cuts. I've got in the 6x8 paper pad and the 12x12 paper pad, they actually have a few pages of kiss cut designs, so like punch out designs, so a whole load more ephemera, if you like. So in the 12x12 paper pad, you get two sheets of the same designs, but they're sort of reversed. And then in the 6x8 paper pad, you get 4 pages and they're 2 of each design. So loads of extra bits of ephemera. So they're great. So what I'm doing here is having a play around with where things are going to sit, how I'm going to place things. And once I know, and I'm sort of pretty happy with it. I mean, it's not obviously perfect. There we go. I'm taking a photo, so I remember what I've done. And then I can take it all off and I can start to get things stuck down. So as always, my patterned paper pieces, and I pulled out this black. It was like a check. And then I've got this sort of deeper terracotta colour. And then this last one, it's almost like a sort of a terracotta sort of Hessian type pattern. I just decided to stick with those. And then I'm just layering them up, having a bit of a play around, making sure I'm happy with it. I decided to trim that black one down a little more. I didn't want to extend it quite so far over to the right. And then I'm just going to get them all stuck down. So here we go. And amazingly, I don't actually get my T-square ruler out at this point. I certainly do eventually. Anyway, so decoupage paper, here we go. I'm just tearing it, so I've got the sort of torn edges. And then what I did, I was actually just put some tape down, ruffled it up, and then pulled another piece and did the same at the bottom. And I really loved the sort of layered sort of texture and that it gave. I do add, there's a little bit there. I wasn't happy with that gap there, so I've just popped a little bit there so that it sort of covered it up. And then I can get my other pieces of the pattern paper stuck down. Aha, so here we go. T-square ruler comes into play, and then I can get these pieces stuck down and my photos stuck down. So yeah, now those photos, as I said earlier, we had a lot of fun. There was 8 of us. There's usually 8 of us when we go to the barn. Maybe there's an extra, but yeah, we've been going for quite a few years now, and we go every year into a fabulous barn in Herefordshire. We all have our own bedroom and bathroom, which is lovely. And then we create, there's a really massive, because the barn sleeps at 18. So there's a massive dining area and space. And we sort of separate out a table, and then we bring extra tables and create a big scrapbooking table, and we're all sat around it. We still have a table for eating, and then there's a great, they put in a bar a few years back, so there's a lovely bar in the corner, and then their kitchen is off to the side. But there's like a coffee and kitchen station in the dining room space as well. So we've got it's fabulous amenities. We love. Okay, apologies there. I don't know what happened with the recording, but it went very slow and I've had to just start again. So it just sort of cut off abruptly. Okay, so I am now getting all those ephemera pieces stuck down. So I'm just tucking in. I added in the tag behind. I've got the little beware sign at the top. It's like a clipboard with a bulldog clip on it. And then I've got the little the flowers I'm tucking in here. Got the tickets. One side it says spooky, and the terracotta ticket on the left says beware. I trimmed off the 2 black flowers they were from the laser cuts, and then I've tucked the leaves in separately behind it. So, okay, I moved on, finished all of getting the ephemera pieces stuck down, and I decided I just needed something in the bottom corner. So I've torn a bit of the white cardstock away. Oh, and by the way, this is the Arden premium cardstock. I've used the bright white for this one. It also comes in a natural white, so it's a slightly softer tone. So I've added the 2 layers at the bottom of the pattern papers, and then I'm bringing in a title. I am just using an alpha from my stash, and I'm going to call it Creepy Crawly. Now, this is complete coincidence, but that little grey banner above where I'm sticking Creepy Crawly down actually says beware of the. So it was like it was meant to be, beware of the creepy crawly, which was not my plan. I hadn't even thought about it until I actually sat here and was starting to edit the photos and realised what had happened. Okay, now of course I had to add these spiders there on the from the laser cuts. I've got 3 of those. I'm just going to sort of add around the layout once I decide where they're going to go. That third one does keep moving around. I can't quite decide, so it doesn't get stuck down yet. And then I've also added some of the epoxy stickers as well. So I've added a few of those to the center of some of the flowers. They say, love this and this place. And then I think, where are we at? Right. Then, of course, because I've added the gold title, I thought I'd add some gold splatters as well, just for a bit of sparkle. I do love a bit of gold, and I think it works perfectly with these more autumnal colours. So I'll get those added. Now, then I thought, oh, I forgot about the rub-ons, and I had a few of the rub-ons I wanted to use, but I've now just added my paint, my ink. Anyway, that's okay. They're tiny. I've just pulled out on one of the rub-on sheets, they've got these little spider's webs, and I thought I would just add a few of those around tucked under my layers. So yeah, they are quite small, so I was able to do it even though I had the wet paint down, so that was lucky. I should have done that before. And then I'm almost done actually. Once I've got these stuck down, I'm pretty much where I wanted to be. I did tuck in a few more epoxy stickers. I added another one to the top, just near the clipboard, and then I add a few on the bottom corner as well. So, but then I think that was pretty much it. Oh, and of course, as always, I add my journaling, and that I've just tucked into below my title. So I'm finally figuring out this last web and where it's going to go. And I can get that down, go on nice and easily. Anyway, I loved putting this layout together. I really love the stitching in the background and then all the layers over it, over the top of it. I hope you've enjoyed watching the process video and get some inspiration, I should say, for using this fab collection, Wicked Woods by Katie Pertiet for Arden Creative Studio. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.